Frank, how proud were you when you got the news that Sin was Player of the Year, and how good did it feel for not just the program standpoint, but for a guy that works so hard to be honored by his peers?
I mean, yeah, it's you live in an era where if you stay in school until you're a senior, you're kind of viewed like you're not quite good enough, and I've never understood that bunch of crock. On the contrary, it's I'm so proud of him. It's it started when he signed up because he had credibility of being a good high school player and becoming an all-league freshman team, whatever that's called, his first year, and doing it in a place where he had to deal with losing. You know, that kind of says a lot about who he is and the job he's done over the last 2 years. I think if you go back and pay attention to what our coaches in this league think, they voted Michael as a first-team All-League player last year, and now they voted Senderis as Player of the Year. Those are the people he competes against. Those aren't the people with opinions. Those are the people that actually watch a lot of film and understand the game and understands what he does. And that's I was real happy for Senderis. He's so deserving, and I know our school put out a video. If you ever wonder what the other guys think of him in that locker room, all you got to do is watch that video. He's a special guy.
After this award, where do you think this puts him with all-time Gamecock athletes?
I don't know. I'm sure when the time comes for all that, he'll be recognized as one of them. It's we set a school record for wins with him being one of the main players on the team. We've gone from 2 conference wins 5 years ago to 12 this year. We've won games in the conference tournament. I don't know. We've done a lot of firsts, and he's a big part of that. So I'm sure when the time comes, he'll be recognized along with the B.J. Mackeys, and everyone else is so deserving.
Frank, you mentioned how highly regarded Senderis is by the rest of the conference. What does this mean about how your program is perceived now, especially when you look at where you were when you started and now you produced the Player of the Year?
Yeah, it's Rick, I'd like to think that I'm well respected amongst my peers in this business. I try to act like a man, and I try real hard to get our teams to play the game the right way. And I know my conversations are like with the other coaches in this league, who I have tremendous respect for. We're all in this thing trying to do the same thing, which is try and help kids move forward in life. And when the other coaches in the league, vote one of your guys as the best player in the league, that's like the ultimate compliment for our program, that they respect the fact that he plays the game the right way, that the team wins, that, as a coach, you respect your players because they line up and they lay it on the line for you every single day. When you start respecting the players on the other team, that's got to be special guys. And obviously Senderis has earned the respect of the other coaches for the way he goes about his business. And he didn't get this award for his 4 years here. He got this award for the way he played this year. But those coaches also understand where he was at, where our program was at, and collectively where we are all at now.
Frank, with spring break, no classes or hour restriction or anything, what's the style of practices this week? Do you go as hard as you did during the regular season, or are you maybe trying to save some legs for this game on Fridays? How is the approach?
If you run them into the ground to go win on Friday, then you'll be shot on Saturday. And so it's they've been going to class and tutors and practicing hard for a long time. This week is not about all that. This week is about staying sharp, It's about staying fresh, about being positive. Next time we lose, our SEC season is done. So we can't approach it thinking that there's another practice to play another SEC game. We have to approach it as to a week-long commitment, and we got to prepare as if we're going to play 3 games in 3 days, not 1 and 1. It's we've got to make sure that our guys are in a good place mentally to go at these games because they're all so hard in this league.
Going off of that, you mentioned you need to give them some time off. How have they responded to that so far? Do they seem refreshed for this important stretch?
Yeah. We were off the last 2 days, and for them it's great. It's the first time they don't have academics, tutors, practice, weights. One of the 9,000 responsibilities they have every single day. It's the first time they don't have any of that, and they get to just kind of relax. I think Sindarius went home to see his family. I'm sure Justin did the same. That's the advantage of the local guys. The other guys, they just kind of relaxed, and they flew around at practice today. The enthusiasm and the energy was definitely real good at practice today. And we didn't do a lot of drill work today. We did a lot of 5-on-5 stuff today in practice, and players don't like drills. Coaches like drills. Players like to play, and I like to tell players. I've said it to every team I've coached in my 10 years. The postseason's about the players now. It's no longer about who we are as a team. The last 30 games have determined who we are as a team, which is a good team that can be real good when we play certain ways. Now the postseason's about the kids. It's about them. It's their opportunity to go out and take advantage of all their sacrifices during the year because they believe in their team. That's why they become a good team.
You tweeted out congratulations to Don and the women's team for winning another SEC title. How does watching them be successful once again inspire you guys for your upcoming tournament?
Yeah, winning breeds winning. And when you're around people like Don, you take pride in winning. And that's, when I got here, it's one of the first things that one of the things that attracted me to the job, but one of the things that I took a lot of pride in my first couple of years where we were not winning, but is being around Ray Tanner, being around Don, being around Coach Spurrier, Hall of Famers, and they carry themselves as winners. They prepare their teams as winners. And as a coach, you just eat that up, because that's we all compete to be great. We don't compete to lose. And our players having to be around that. Winning is conducive to winning. And when you have someone like Dawn who helps us in recruiting, she gives of her time to help us recruit. Will Muschamp does the same. Ray Taylor, I know how Ray does it. He meets with every recruit, not just men's basketball. Will has met with our recruits. Coach Spurrier met with our recruits. It's an unbelievable group of people here, and everyone's on board to help each other, to win. Chad's been in the dugout right before a game, and I brought a recruit to him, and he's been giving of his time to help us recruit. It's a special place filled with special people, and Don is one of the all-time greats, not just in women's basketball, in all of sports, and being able to for our guys to see their women's team succeed and win, that creates positive peer pressure, and that's a good thing.
Have you personally, or will you check out projections of where your team is at right now, or when would you start?
Football. Is that what it says on your chest right now? Reggie, you're killing me. We're going to run the veer. Believe me, if I coach football, you guys would all hate me because I would run the ball between the guard and the tackle every single play. Every single play. We'd run it right in there. And as soon as I saw all your guys kind of sneaking in, then we throw it to the outside. We're going to knock you on your rear end every single play. Will and I get along because of that. We kind of think the game a lot. alike. No, to answer your question, no. It's you run yourself crazy if you're worried about that. My whole objective right now is figure out a way to win on Friday. Figure out a way to win on Friday. If your question is, do I feel we're going to be in the NCAA tournament? My answer is yes. But I felt that way last year too. Now, our so-called resume is a little different this year. You know, numbers are better. The wins away from home. Last year we had more wins away from home, but a lot of wins away from home. This year we've got more top 50 wins. You know, got a winning record on the road in conference play. I mean, it just go on and on and on. We're in a real good place this year. But right now, my only concern is that game Friday night.
Frank, will Keita be available this weekend or further down the road?
The plan is for him to play Friday.
Questions, guys? Anybody else? Phil?
PJ's 13 for his last 61 on three-pointers. That's like 21%. You still encourage him to shoot the three?
How many did he make last year in conference play? 0. So that's a step in the right direction. He's got to. Someone's got to shoot it. He's made shots for us this year, and he just makes them in practice. If he didn't work at it, I wouldn't let him shoot. But he works at it. And he, you know, like today, he shot the ball well today. He's got to see the ball go in the basket in games. He saw it early in the year, and that rim got bigger for him. And now he's been missing, and that rim's gotten a little smaller on him in games. He's got to he's got to have a free mind. Those are not good numbers from a shooting percentage, but he's earned the right to be one of our frontline guys. He's got to shoot the ball, and he works. If he didn't work at it, Phil, believe me, I'd say, hey, stop. That's not happening anymore. But he works at it, so he's got to be able to jump up and shoot the ball, and I've got a lot of confidence that ball's going to start going in the basket for him.
Frank, kind of off topic, but you've got a lot of kids from around the world on your team, and you've had that in the past. Just how does recruiting internationally work? I mean, do you have to know guys? Is there a scouting service? Just how do guys get on your radar when they play in Senegal or Australia?
Just people you meet over the years and different venues, different events, different camps. It's all relationships. Recruiting is all relationships. It's all it is. And, you know someone that knows somebody that's coaching a team wherever, and they see a kid, and that guy calls that guy and says, hey, you always talk to me about Frank Martin. I think this kid would be good for Frank. So then that guy relays a message, and, it's where you mess up is where you don't follow those leads. But most of the times you follow those leads, and they're not guys that either fit or good enough or whatever it may be, but you have to follow the lead. Or you move on something without following the lead, and then when they get here, it's not what you thought you were signing up for. So you got to do your job, but it's all relationships. It's knowing people, having credibility with people, being a man of your word, so people are willing to endorse and no difference in job references. You're looking for a job and you apply at 3 different places and you get the right people endorsing you, then you end up getting a job. Recruiting's it's all relationships. It's all relationships. And but basketball's grown worldwide. It's an unbelievable place right now worldwide. So you have to recruit from everywhere. We weren't going to convince the I don't know what do you call them, the 5 stars. I can't stand the star system. I think that's the biggest joke of all time. But whatever. To sign up for South Carolina 5 years ago, it just wasn't going to happen. So you got to go find good enough players so you can win, and so you can keep your job, and so your fans get excited. That's what we tried to do. And I can sit back and say, well, no one wants to come to school here. Well, that's all right. Well, you guys wouldn't be talking to me today. be back at the bar in Miami throwing people around. You know, it's it's the truth. Or you go find guys where you know you don't want to go, but you do what you got to do. You know, and then you got to coach them, and they get here, and they got to grow up, and they got to buy in, and you got to be patient. And we've been fortunate that we found the right guys that fit who we are, and along the ways, we were able to sign a Sindarius and a PJ that are elite level players.
The last time you took a team to the NCAA tournament, your name became a hot commodity in coaching circles, and you ended up here. Pundits are now throwing your name out there with openings as they pop up. So how are you going to handle that? Would you like to say right now you have no interest in any jobs that come up that your name might be mentioned for, that you are 100% committed to continuing at South Carolina?
Remember a couple of years ago, I had to answer a question. Where's my guy? Is he in here today? I was worried about my job security. Phil, so my name is being mentioned for jobs? Really? Am I glad? Really? Oh, wow. I'd share some stuff I know about one of those jobs from 5 years ago that make you laugh. But that would probably get me and a lot of people in trouble. That's why at this time of year, I'm just telling you, I don't pay attention. I listen to the stuff that's written and all that in the off season and first couple months of the year. This time of year, because of all that nonsense, all that stuff that gets put out there. Phil, this is what I'm going to tell you. If my name is being thrown out there, I'm flattered. I'm in a great, great place. I work for incredible people. I have unbelievable respect for my two bosses, Ray Tanner and Harris Pastides. Growing up as a kid, I moved 15 times in my first 17 years on this planet. I don't like moving. It's not, I don't enjoy moving to a new block and meeting new people every year. Not my cup of tea. I wouldn't have signed that contract last year if my intent was to leave here. I had opportunities last year. I wouldn't have signed my contract last year. I don't know if that's answering your question, or I'm an old-fashioned guy in some things, and I try to be modernized in others. But the one thing I am old-fashioned in is remember, was it you that kept asking me about my contract last year? You asked me about that, about when Ray and I were going to talk and all that. I'm pretty sure it was you. And I told you, I wasn't talking till the season ended. Season ended, and Ray and Dr. Pastides respected that. Season ended, we got that thing done right away. You know, I wouldn't have done that if I wasn't happy here. And you guys can look at my contract. My buyout's kind of scary. If I was trying to get out of here, you think I would have signed the contract that had such a big buyout? You know, I came here to do a job. I want to see that job through, you know, and we're close. We've made progress, but I want to see that job through.
Dave?
Frank, attendance set another record this year. Just what is it that makes Columbia a great basketball town, just across the board?
It had tremendous, you know, Dave, it had tremendous history. What caught me my first year here, first of all, nobody even knew we still played basketball when you went around the community. That caught me completely off guard. And when you got into conversations with people and they said, oh, you coach basketball. Oh, I remember when Coach McGuire was here. And I'm saying, that was 1980. That was 30, whatever it was, 2-3 years ago, back then. And it didn't fail. And it kind of, it's something that stuck with me because I said, wow, there is a serious disconnect with basketball, our school, and this community. And because and Coach Fogler, all you guys in this room know, is a dear friend of mine, and he's the guy that grabbed my ear about this job. No one ever says, oh, I remember Eddie Fogler's days. They won an SEC championship. They went to the NCAA tournament, the whole deal. I remember Dave Odom. No, everyone was like, yeah, I was here for Coach McGuire. I was here for I'm saying, so did they not play ball the last 33 years around here? But that's the kind of disconnect that existed here. And you've heard me answer 5 years later, as I've kind of got a better feel for the landscape of things, all the things that I thought created that. I think we're in a much better place now. Our fans love this school. I mean, I don't care what sport it is. They love this school, and they come support it. And I kind of saw that, and my whole feeling the whole time was we got to recruit the right way. We got to schedule the right way. We've got to win. And I've got to rebuild some bridges between former players, alums, the community, our own campus, to get people excited about our program again. And we've worked hard at it, and I think our fans have responded the way I thought they would, which is they've shown up. And not only have shown up, but shown up and set records for our school. So it's fun. It's fun to play home games and come out and have, 14, 15, 16,000 people when you take the court.
Last question, Mike.
Real quick before the back row kills me here for asking a question. Surprised this hasn't been brought up. Last week, going into that Ole Miss game, did you see anything that you didn't like in practices to lead you to believe that maybe your team would not perform well? And this week, I'm wondering where you think this team is going into the SEC tournament. What do you like? What do you not like?
Yeah, we weren't bad going into the Ole Miss game. I just think all this is new to us. It really is. And it's a road game. That's the other part to that. Ole Miss is on edge. Ole Miss needed to win. They're coming off a game where they lost at Alabama, where they did not play well. They were on edge. And I don't think our guys were prepared to, and that's the end of the day becomes my job. But I don't think they were prepared to take on a very, Ole Miss has won 19 games. We're not talking about a team that won 8. And they showed up and they were on it now. They were playing at the speed that a team that's fighting for credibility does. And we weren't ready to deal with that. We fought hard and we figured out a way to get back in it and gave ourselves a chance to win in the last 5 minutes of the game. But like I said after the game, if we would have been prepared to handle things better, then we're not down 20 and maybe we do win the game. But no, they weren't bad. We weren't as we didn't play as fast and enthusiastic and as sharp as we were going into Tennessee the week before. But we weren't bad either. We just, had a road game. Just didn't, it happens. It's, and all this is new. We're the team that when you beat us, it makes your number better. It kind of puts you in a place that now you win 20 games. Yeah, when we beat South Carolina. And this is new to our guys. It's not something that we've been used to dealing around here, and so we probably didn't handle that as well as we needed to. But no, the guys will be fine this week. Our team's a resilient team. They enjoy practice. They enjoy, going through the journey. We went through a couple weeks there where we weren't as good as we needed to be. And I told you guys that, but for the most part, these guys have been a whole lot of fun to be around, and there's a reason that I feel pretty good about playing next week. And there's a reason. It's not because I'm smarter than anybody. It's because we got a special group of guys.